Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Amilly fields in the north. It is Tonkatsu fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the... let's just go with 1st Panzerdivision here with encirclement, strategic reserves, and German infantry. Oh my, that's definitely an interesting collection of commanders. And then south it is Eisernes, Kreuz fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union. Comrade Stalin here with Guard Rifle, Guard Motor, and NKVD. Similarly, somewhat exciting, interesting. There, of course, there's obviously Guard Motor as well, which is good, but not particularly exciting at this point. So, Tonkatsu with German infantry with 250-1 half-tracks, veteran squad leaders, stormtroopers, assault and hold, and fragmentation bomb. Eisernes Kreuz following up here for the 3rd Guards Tank Corps. By the way, sniper stuff for Tonkatsu is a curious choice. And as always, by the way, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. So thanks to every single one of those and the support, allowing me to keep doing what I do on a daily basis. Other people can join thanks by Patreon on Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the description. And you can also just, pre-order comments for you can do that by the link in the comments. Use the code Coh2 all caps, and, finally just comment, like, share, subscribe. So, sniper starts again. Like, versus surge, you have larger squads, so that way the sniper is less effective bleeding them out. But I think another crucial element is just Amilly feels like one of those larger 1v1 maps. So, like, the type of, like, should I say, map control you take from going for sniper in the early game, I think impacted Tonkatsu a bit extra hard in the early game here versus Eisernes Kreuz. Engineers moving about there again, bit of barbed wire going up here and there. Sniper pioneers moving forward, grenadiers in the west, so looks like no machine guns here for Tonkatsu as well. 3rd conscript there for Eisernes Kreuz. Likely than another Guard Rifle, Guard Motor, though. Theoretically could still be like NKVD. Sniper gets killed there on Dimitri. On the west side here, we can see there, Eisernes Kreuz is waiting at the majority of his forces there with 2 conscripts here. Going to make a push here. Sniper will need to, of course, assist the machine gun. Pioneers with sandbags here to help make this part more defensible. Plus, in this case, cover wide off. He's going to need some cover of his own. Sniper pushing users there, going to catch the engineers here. 2nd grenadiers coming up. So the west side here, the grenadiers will likely be flashed out in a few moments if Eisernes Kreuz makes the push. Of course, we try and switch on the center. We'll see. And these side engineers pursuing the sniper there. And he's been from the north here. Yeah, definitely unusual opening here. And again, German infantry, not your most picked commander after they nerfed it, particularly the veteran squad, or specifically the veteran squadrons, though I still think it's pretty good and pretty fun, personally. Gunners going for the conscript squad there. 3rd gunner squad there for Tonkatsu. Punishment use the conscripts. 4th conscript fires is quite interesting. Could still be Guard Motor, Guard Rifle, but it might not be Guard Motor as much there. It's definitely an interesting choice there by Eisernes Kreuz. Possibly in response to the sniper here, but just thinking, hang on, snipers, can't again deal with mass of infantry assaults there. So, definitely just going for more constant now is definitely not a, tactically invalid idea here by Eisernes Kreuz as all versus Tonkatsu. Definitely punishes him for not having the MD42 team out. So there you go, pushing ahead here. Sniper taking a lot of hits there, quickly pushed off. No tech yet for Tonkatsu. East side, he is pushing back engineers. Half one hit. Already now, Tonkatsu found himself besieged here by Eisernes Kreuz and the Red Army as he keeps pouring in constantly here versus Tonkatsu. Snamming in there low on health. Grenadiers charged here with the conscripts. More forces moving up here. 4 kills on the sniper, but already heavily damaged. And there we go, the overwhelming here. Eisernes Kreuz assault. Quite violent stuff here. And we got a mine here by the sandbags. Devious play there by Eisernes Kreuz. Devious. Eastern fuel plant being hit there, so at least despite everything else, Tonkatsu is able to at least somewhat hit his opponent's fuel economy in return. Medics down there, certainly necessary with this much infantry and engineers in the early game. He will absolutely need medics fast. More mines here, pioneers blown to bits. More mines here. That could have actually been a wipe down the pioneers. In fact, might still get the wipe with the engineers here with a bit of luck. Tech on the way there for Tonkatsu. Sniper moving towards the eastern victory point. Engineers popping into the shed. Western fuel plant now being seized here by Eisernes Kreuz as constant the hard work at it. Both players by, I think, been a bit AFK as of late. At least AFK, but they haven't been playing companies as of late. But guess they're back from their little break. Perhaps the thought of companies 3 there makes them want to get in some games there. So I've been seeing some of those players. Grenadiers versus engineers in the east side here. Center we got the Grenadiers moving forwards for Deutschland. Could go for like a fast 250 half-tack here versus Eisernes Kreuz. I would say a map like this, I think, is excellent for 250 half-tacks, personally. Of course, more like just go for the 2-2 because, you know, the 2-2 is just nice, solid, and certainly safer to use than the 250 half-track in many regards. Use their routed, and use the advancing conscripts. Slamming about here, 5 killed. Conscript front to the Grenadiers. Good kill. Dimitri dropping dead. So now retreating here. Armored car on the way for Chief Tonkatsu. Two to two there. Slowly getting ready. They're charging at the Grenadiers here. Slowly, slowly. Honey's going for the conscripts there. Grenadiers gives the conscript there as well. Overall losing a lot of engagements here. Armored car almost done. Troops reinforcing. Going for the western point here. Centers here once more, but the Red Army conscripts push back there. And there we go. Like to punches Biberg out here for Chief Tonkatsu and the German army. Bunker up there for Chief Tonkatsu, being west of the armored car. Tank will be tank out there for Eisernes Kreuz. First veteran squadded out there for Chief Tonkatsu as a 5th guy with a Sturmgewehr, basically the full Grenadier version. Plus gives the squad some other minor benefits, so it's a very, I think, personally solid upgrade. Tends to get a bit of load compared to the light machine gun, but I think it is quite useful. And kind of neat. Constantly basically the point there. That's it. They're kind of laying up the sandbags from the wrong angle there from Eisernes Kreuz perspective. Armies here. Oh, sniper again pushed back. Low on health. Bunker there yet to be upgraded. And we got tech there already for Eisernes Kreuz. There's going to be like a T-70 here. Again, good macro control here does allow him to push out the T-70 good pacey versus Chief Tonkatsu, who will need, well, either more armored cars, which seems a bit unlikely here for him to go for that. Of course, Pack 40s. There's also option C, which would be Panzerschrecks, but that would require the Panzer Grenadiers or a lot of Stormtroopers. And he obviously wants to go for munition C to heal up his sniper there. So, he's also got the second veteran Grenadier squad up already as well there. Thumbs up. They also, by the way, get an accuracy bonus over to the entire squad, which also gives the unit, I think, a bit more offensive firepower there. Allows them to attack more efficiently. There you go. Half-track here for Eisernes Kreuz. The M5 half-track rush has suddenly become more popular here. Again, as of late in the metagame there. As I think more so players are concerned again with pushing out faster T-34s. The half-track is starting to get a bit more screen time again. But again, it sort of wanes and waxes here in the metagame. Enforcing healing, of course. With a half-track out, Chief Tonkatsu could be tempted to go for another armored car, since 2 armored cars can take that on fairly well and then switch to the infantry. Of course, he's most likely just going to go for a Pack 40 anyways. But versus the half-track, that second 2-2 wouldn't be a half bad idea at all here for Chief Tonkatsu. Pack 40 on the way there as expected. They're taking losses. Sniper there kills Yevgeny. We got the veteran getting caught with the half-track, quickly push back. He might be veteran, but he's not veteran enough to, you know, tell them how not to get suppressed like that when out in the open. Western point we see of the Grenadiers. Pack 40 almost done here for Chief Tonkatsu. Just burning a wounded man. Yuri, was that really necessary? No, I just enjoyed the screams of their suffering. Oh. Pack 40 almost done there for Chief Tonkatsu and the 1st Panzer Division. No commander yet though for Eisernes Kreuz. At this point, there's probably just going to end up with Guard Motor anyways, but just for the T-35s. Could also be Guards Rifle for the KB1s, but definitely feels more likely for, you know, T-35s than KB1s here most of the time. Veteran going to attack from north into the country squad there. No other squad than nearby. Armored car, of course, can provide some covering fire. They'll probably should have focused on the ones without cover. But isn't. Cruisers like this. Sniper setting out again here. After going forward to Eisernes Kreuz and the Red Army. Armored car landing a few hits it through the engine block. Pack 40 moving in there. Engineers pushing for the car point. They're looking to messy with Chief Tonkatsu's fuel supply. East side the armored covers the conscripts there. Straight for the car point. Veteran grenadiers moving up there. Pack around here with a half-track. Few shots there through the engine block again. Pack 40 gets a great hit there. And there you go, engineers taking heavy losses pushed off the car point. They could pursue the half-track in theory with the armored car, like take a slightly more longer path there, thing to cut off its retreat. But yeah, there's obviously more concern just pushing back the front line there. He's retreating for the west. Khan's going for the western point again. Nothing done about the sandbags here, so Eisernes Kreuz can easily place his men's flaccid buttocks on the field point and secure it once more. Third veteran grenadier squad upgrade now already done here for Tonkatsu and for Deutschland. Quickly digging in here around the eastern field point, expecting his next move to be there, but instead he's heading westwards to deal with the conflict on the western field point. A machine gun here for Tonkatsu, finally bring up some suppressive firepower versus Eisernes Kreuz, who is also bringing up a maximum of his own. Interesting, they sort of have the same idea in that sense there. There we go, Khan's find their cover ruined and are themselves routed. East side here, Khan's pushing forwards. Veteran grenadiers routed, Sniper there with 10 kills, Veterans 1, opening up for the incendiary explosive round. After being fixed up here for Eisernes Kreuz and the Red Army. A few flares down there, moving up the west side here with the veteran grenadiers. Pack turning around here, got the western victory point. Pack shoots, I think he's trying to wreck the sandbags there. Yup, trying to deny Eisernes Kreuz another hard point to fire from. Mines at the carve point, thumbs up to Eisernes Kreuz there, very smart, Sniper getting killed on the Maxim. East side is secured by the conscripts. Having fought against the armored car, Pack forcing up here. Onto the suppressed, routed. And we got a teller mine here of Tonkatsu's very own making. Well, obviously not the mine itself. I made this mine, especially myself. I used a lot of Weissbier in its making. You're drunk, Herr Oberleutnant. You didn't mix this mine. After the 2 kills, veteran 2. Might see some tech, yeah, now from Eisernes Kreuz. Mechanized armor company there. In the west, the armor covers the countries there. Tonkatsu, of course, at this stage, can just take them up themselves. Start slowly pushing towards the Panzerwaffe. Got a mortar on the way. That's not a bad idea either. There's always mortars in the 1v1 metagame I find are typically just very handy. And the sniper got spotted and wiped by 2 conscripts out in the open. Ultimately, I feel like the sniper really wasn't worth it here for Tonkatsu. I feel like the sniper was not worth it at all, personally. Partly again, Soviets, but also just map really doesn't, I think, make it great for Wehrmacht sniper openings. And there go lost machine as well, just as almost as soon as they route on top of this sniper. That is a massive blow. Looks like they're able to wipe the machine crew out there under Kreutz's command, denied to him. Very good there, at least. Helps mitigate a bit of a disaster, though he needs to get his hands on it. Pani is by with the veteran squad as well, which just, in this case, means a 5th guy, rather than any bonuses being conferred. Of course, a 5th Pani still does add a bunch, but... Ooh, nice mortar hit full up with the smoke screen there from Tonkatsu. Thumbs up. Western film them grab at the points there. Still no tech here from him, and Eisernes Kreuz, he can soon push out the T-34 and 6. They, of course, may go for the T-35 or a KB-1, but there you go. Tech for Tonkatsu finally. Victory points wise, though, Tonkatsu definitely needs to work on those soon here. Definitely needs to get to work on those. We're doing with an arts engineer push here. Grenadier, of course, at ready. German army did operate a variety of mortars. Of course, the Grenadier 34 was the most common. By far. Handfuls then the half-track. Good hit. West side here going to put back the conscripts. It did, for example, operate a 5cm mortar, which will serve us for a good part of the early war, but was steadily sort of phased out. Of course, you had the Nebelwerfers, which, of course, you'd figure, wait, what aren't those rocket launchers? But in fact, early Nebelwerfers were actually heavy mortars. I think roughly around 100mm. So, little fun fact there. Little fun fact. An additional fun mortar factoid here is they actually had a commando version, well, there, a more lighter version of the 18 mortar known as the Stummelwerfer, which is basically, I think, meant for paratroops and the likes. It's just a much shorter mortar there. They just, well, half the size mortar tube that could be used for closer action there. Little fun fact on that one. But there you go. Eisernes Kreuz with the T-34-6 ready for another Stalinist assault here on Tonkatsu and his Teutonic sensibilities. Armored car that came being a respectful distance from the conscripts. Always sensible. Armored car that ends up suffering a damaged engine. This is going to be an opportunity for Eisernes Kreuz to charge in his T-34 to finish it off here. We got the Pak 40 blasting at stuff that is utterly irrelevant. Meanwhile, that's definitely a bit awkward. Pak 40 sitting up here. Could maybe follow up with the Pak shot and then Pantherfaust it. Does get the armored car at that close call though in the center here. Maxim being bombarded here by the Granadenwerfer. So Pomo call up. Also very good here. Go for the Panther 4. You could of course also go for the Stug 3G. Could allow maybe a chance to like hunt down the half-tech swiftly and finish it off. Or the T-34. We also got more mines here from Eisernes Kreuz in the west. Not a bad idea. And there you go, field gun here for Kreuz. Of course, down to realize, you know, he's probably around that time slot with the German tanks start arriving to, you know, try and ruin his day. He's in the western victory point here, back. Got some of these Pak 40 moving in there. There you go, Panther for Tonkatsu. Pak shoots, misses the half track. Field gun almost done. Constant dug in by the eastern point. Of course, got 7 upgrades for almost all of them. Eisernes Kreuz still yet to pick a command here. The Panther 4 is 1/3 of the way done here for Tonkatsu. We're slowly approaching the 20-meter mark, and Kreuz is still yet to pick a commander. That's a bit, you know, wrecking a bit of terrain there. Clearing up lanes of fire. Field gun out there for Eisernes Kreuz. There we go, mortar sets off a mine accidentally. 6 kills on the Granadenwerfer, not too shabby. Another push in the center right to the machine gun and the mortars line of fire. Armored Colt running a bit of spotting there, very good. Could use the mortar to bombard the Maxim there. I think that would be the optimal choice there. They could also try and bombard the conscripts. Pak 40 moving up here on the west side. Gun is caught with a half check on the west. And the T-34 charging in here. Pak 40 caught out of position really bad there. The Panther 4 though has arrived here for Tonkatsu, but it's heading eastwards. Tonkatsu I feel like it's got a lot of things going on at the same time, and they're not quite panning out here. Panther 4 though does push off the conscript from the east side, killing Sergei there in the process. Mortar there bombarding away there. 6 killed close to T2. Max on their routed. On the west side here, Pak 40 being pursued still by Eisernes Kreuz forces. Panther 4 there wrecking the sandbags, pulling back now. No Penalty machine gun, definitely should get that gun. He's also got quite a munitions hump here. Close to 300 munitions. Kreuz could soon go for another T-34. He could also go for the H-5, I suppose. Katyushas, or again go for like something a bit more heavier on the end of the spectrum there. Smoke being deployed, he's up loud. Tonkatsu safe to score the point there. Pioneers getting shot bits for the T-34. Mortar there, close to T2. Good shot there for the frontal armor. Tier 4 on the way for Tonkatsu. As always, not a huge fan of Tier 4 decisions, in particular, like even remotely behind, and especially not against the Soviets. I feel like that is a questionable decision here that could end up proving not helpful for Tonkatsu here. We'll of course have to see, but personally, not something I'd advise under these current circumstances. I'd rather advise more armor, like a Stug or another Panther 4 here versus Eisernes Kreuz at the moment. And for Eisernes Kreuz, I just, advised choosing a command and getting going here. But yeah, it does look like we're going to be looking at our Nation 5 here, or T-35 soon, or possibly the KB-1. I mean, the howitzer on a map like this could also be an additional handy support tool here for Tonkatsu and the first puns to be shown. Of course, time to see what is going on there. MD-45 and the units crunch on the center of the east side. Their T-31 for the eastern field point there. Units routed. Katyusha there for Eisernes Kreuz. Full shouting the Grenadiers in the way. Oh, Volkskunde Grenadiers. I'm just used to this being the Volkskunde icon from Companies 1. Even haven't like played a lot of Companies 1 in ages. Like, for some reason, boom, Volksgrenadiers. Katyusha on there for Eisernes Kreuz. No T-35. Obviously, the Katyusha is still going to be a handy headache to toss at Tonkatsu, who now has access to the fragmentation bomb. Also, it does require he gets into a position where he can really wield it effectively versus his Soviet opponent. Heavy Panzer almost on there for Tonkatsu. We'll have to go. Probably go for, say, a Panzerwerfer, Sturmpanzer, or a Panther. Counter their base on the west side. Looks like they're going to threaten the field point in the west again. And meanwhile, grab back the eastern field point. Still no commander for Kreuz and the Red Army. Get the smoke then rapidly deployed here by Eisernes of Tonkatsu against Eisernes. Kreuz going to make a push for the center victory point again. Victory points wise. We also get a big lead here for Kreuz over Tonkatsu. Pack some hits here. There's a mine that was laid down. Did they sweep a mine? Not laid down a mine. Almost got the center here. Guys, Tonkatsu in some regards I feel like is playing perhaps a bit too conservatively, which again, against the Soviets is always, I find, a highly risky endeavor. You're seeing that they're advancing conquers there. One firing down death, Katyusha firing away there. Panzerwerfer for Tonkatsu. Needs to push up the eastern side. Grab the eastern field point there. Bit of mortar here and there. Smoke being deployed in the field gun, but what is the planning for Tonkatsu? We got Assault and Hold though, 2 thumbs up. Now that's a great ability and one that gets, I think, criminally overlooked, but there we go. And a fragmentation bomb here. Tonkatsu is going full on Deutschland here versus Eisernes Kreuz. And there we go. The bombs go down. Sadly, a bit too slow, but still gets an impact in here on Kreuz. But sadly, the infantry assault there on the flank should have had some arm support. I feel like Panther moving up the center. Needs more support on the other side here, though. Getting some damage in here, but sadly, I feel like elements of the attack there could have been coordinated a bit better here by Tonkatsu. It's close, but ultimately falls a bit short here. But nice attempt by Tonkatsu, nice attempt. He still obviously did do some damage to Eisernes Kreuz, but I think had there been slightly better coordination here, the overall impact would have been much better. There you go, Panzer barrage though. Oh, close again there, so close. Might be able to let the field gun and then destroy it. That would certainly be very helpful here for Tonkatsu versus Eisernes Kreuz, and devastating for Eisernes Kreuz. Make 2 points wise though. Tonkatsu is in a pretty bad place. And I'm not talking Baden-Baden after night. Almost got the field gun, but Fortune keeps slinging through his hand. We got a fragmentation bomb here on the Maxim. This time gets his bombing off. That completely annihilates Eisernes Kreuz Maximum crew. They're obviously not the biggest threat here. That would still be the field gun. Up north, you've got a Kaufmann being hit, but gun is catching the hit, pushing them back. Could maybe get a wipe here. That would certainly relieve some pressure on Tonkatsu and add some to Eisernes Kreuz. Still in command of Kreuz. I think he's almost wiped out here. Almost wiped out. There we go. Toast. Heading east with the Grenadiers there. Bernarden for there with 7 kills. Slowly poaching Veteran 3. Good shot on the conscripts. Bigly pursuit with the Grenadiers. More rocket strikes off here. Literally there with 2 kills. And there we go. We finally got a command here for Kreuz. Is Gart Raff immediately unleashes and Sturmwick strafing on here against Tonkatsu. Almost got the T-34 here. Almost, but falls just a bit short there of the kill. Panther 4 can't assist either. Do get a Panzer barrage. Guess they might try and finish the job here with a Panzerwerfer. Can the rockets still hit the mark? They do destroy the field gun and the T-34. Eisernes Kreuz suffers a hell of a slap here from Tonkatsu. Ears ringing, vision blurred, mom spaghetti. Eisernes Kreuz center there is in slightly tatters. They're not quite ruined. Grab the eastern field point there. Needs to get more victory point action going on there. Back here, trip enforcing healing. Needs more Panzerwaffe here to meet the Marxist menace. And Kreuz needs more tanks of his own. And there you go, another T-34 from 6. No KV-1s for him. Mortar there with 8 kills, halfway to the ace level there. Panther 4 being fixed up, more or less good to go there for Tonkatsu. Fielding the firing at the Panther 4 straight for the frontal armor. Mortar being caught here with the advancing comes from two sides. We've got the vertical movement as well here. Decent hit there, but the mortar crew goes down. Good kill there for Kreuz, even if Tonkatsu can recruit. The veterans he lost will still be a bit difficult to replace here, so definitely helps buy the rest of Eisernes Kreuz forces a bit more time against the mortar. We'll have to see what goes for next. Maybe a Sturmpanzer, maybe a Panther. Sturmpanzer will always help us the field guns and the infantry. Panther, well, that's the armor while there's still only like one tank, I guess. Another Panther for there for Tonkatsu. I definitely recommend that over Panther, so good choice here. Blitzkrieg as well, they're going to go for the half-track here. Tonkatsu now really starting to inflict some blows here to Eisernes Kreuz. There you go, the half-track is down. T-54 gets a great shot for the Panther Force frontal armor. Grabbing the center here, and there you go, another Panther barrage. Kreuz's men there in the frontal assault are absolutely decimated. A massive pile of corpses there. Where once a Soviet assault was. Got a Katyusha barrage here, going for the shotgun rocket blast approach there for Kreuz. Veteran Goose being pushed back, looks like Tonkatsu may just have stabilized versus Kreuz. Finally. Second Panther 4, they're ready, but they still got a long way to go. Victory points wise and force wise. Kreuz still has a lot in him to give for the motherland. So we'll have to see what Tonkatsu decides to do next. Some more infantry could be a nice addition, though. For better map control and also, I think, better offensive capability. Obviously, just going for more armor could also be very good for something like Stug right now. Would also be quite handy for just taking on the T-54s and maybe rushing down that Katyusha and destroying it. Again, we'll have to see exactly what Tonkatsu decides to do on that account. Contra 5 on the Panther 4 here by the eastern point. Fresh push up the center, right into the machine gun, the mortar, and of course the nearby Panzer 4, which is very, very close to Veteran 2. And the Schutzen. The center of the assault is definitely running into some headaches. There's the machine gun there, gains Veteran 2, opening up for better suppression. The Nightmare for the lands a fairly decent hit there, actually. Fairly decent hit. Back here, base on Eisernes Kreuz, we do have got rifle. There's not really much to show for there, except again that one Sturmweg strafing run. No howitzers, no K1s, no guardsmen, and nothing out of this one either yet. Swinging westwards here with his Panther 4 and his veteran gun, easily catching some of Kreuz's forces out in the open. Another T-54 for Kreuz. Panther 4 gaining Veteran 2. Mortar lands a decent hit, then the mortar contact support there. Gaining veterans on the process up north here. A bunker for Tonkatsu. Going a bit more defensive here versus the advancing Marxist menace, then popping assault and hold. 2 thumbs up. Still may want to use a bit of cover there. And there you go, Katyusha barrage around the bunch of guns. Oh, he actually expects to move forwards with it. The Katyusha barrage is a complete whiff here for Eisernes Kreuz. Woof. I mean, it could also have been a misclick, but either way, the end result ends up being, he managed to miss a significant blob of German infantry there. And now we got the Panther barrage possible into the base here, going for possible. Oh, goodness gracious, the utter carnage. More horrifying losses inflicted on Eisernes Kreuz. Going for the base, but there you go. T-54 fieldman here, ready to repulse Tonkatsu's drive towards Moscow, it seems. Western Punch Corps laying down some mines here. Good work there by Kreuz. Certainly looks a bit rough here for Kreuz now as Tonkatsu's looking like he's got a lot of the cards now. Of course, Kreuz still has the victory point lead. He still has a significantly large amount of infantry squads here, so it's not like all is bleak here for Kreuz, but Tonkatsu is definitely starting to land some pretty painful blows there. 25 kills there. Panther gets a good hit here. Pack 40 going up. Panther over there. Fix up the Panther on the east. Anything for the conscripts. Panther 4 fires. Panther 4 knocked out. Bit more to hit there. Panzer getting blast there, feeling for out the Panther 4. And there you go, Katyusha barrage off here from Eisernes Kreuz to get the machine gun. Panther wing to engage the Tonkatsu, good hit there. What will he go for next? Is it a Panther he's planning? Another Panther 4 Stooks? Hard to say what Tonkatsu think right now, but meanwhile, Kreuz though is he's not showing any hesitation, just goes straight for the center here. Looking to stall the victory point bleeding, getting it going back here, got Tonkatsu. The west side there, there's some increasing force there for the German army. Swinging through here, Kreuz's left flank. Of course, T-34s are providing ample protection. Oh dear, that Panzerwerfer is definitely going places it shouldn't be going. Oh, got him here, man! Ah! That's the sort of stuff that gives you some significant anxiety. But there he goes, going for another barrage inside of Kreuz's base. This time that doesn't have quite the impact, and he could easily have lost. That was definitely not worth it. Tonkatsu, that was definitely not worth the risk. It looks like a Panther is indeed planned here now. In which case, they should definitely go for it. Or should then go for something else. There you go. Panzerkampfangriff on the way there for Tonkatsu. Slowly approaching the echelon with the Panzerwerfer. End up being fairly expensive there for Tonkatsu with not too much to show for it this time around. Not too much to show for it. And he's being hammered here. Pack 4 setting up again. Panther 4 they still need some repairs. And then go quick strafe around here. Eisernes Kreuz unleashes the Red Army Air Force here against Tonkatsu support weapons. But the pack crew there suffers a hell of a walloping there as the Sturmwick goes for it. There you go. Panther 4. Now back in the thick of it here as Eisernes Kreuz takes the fight to it. Pack crew there wiped out as well. Panther though is almost done here for Tonkatsu and the 1st Panzer Division. Will it be enough to turn the tide against the Red Army? Who knows? Eastern point mixes with the conscripts. Panther for the catch and the conscript up there, shooting away. Panther almost done here for Tonkatsu. Shot right through the side armor there. There we go. Panther out here for Tonkatsu. Panther setting out there. Panther was the conscripts. He's chanting 40. Panther going for the flank. Pack shoots. Panther does not. Pack misses. Panther does not. Adding the Penlight machine gun there. Shots on the T-34 as well there. Might want to keep the frontal army here towards the field guns. Panther commanders were specifically instructed to always keep the front of the Panther towards the enemies. Obviously, that was the strongest point in the tank, was the front there with 80mm of sloped armor. And certainly also a 80mm sloped turret, though they had to modify the turret with later Model G. As you might notice there, the slightly curved turret there, half of the turret there, mantle there, could actually send the shots into the top of the tank there, so they had to fix that. And there you go. Tonkatsu goes too deep in there with the Panther, risks suffering a damaged engine, which would have been a death sentence for the Panther there, particularly since there was no infantry to support the Panther. So that was definitely a not great push there, I think, by Tonkatsu with this Panther. Grenading out terrain here with the Panther. Breaking sandbags, so they definitely need to fix up the Panther. More pioneers for Tonkatsu would be an excellent idea. And meanwhile, Eisernes Kreuz is just bringing in more T-34s from 6s, since they are just amazingly efficient. I mean, for the cost of one Panther, you can almost get, like, you know, 3 T-34s from 6s are, you know, quite obviously, but... Or 2 of them, actually. Not 3, that is a wild exaggeration. It's actually just 2. Even then... 2 T-34s 6 can lay down a lot more firepower than the Panther. Especially versus infantry. Jumping Mavada here, mortifying down death from above. Back to 6 kills in Infantry 2. Mortar's definitely caught up a bit here, though. It's certainly trailing far behind the Panzerwerfer now. Still got all 3 victory points back into control. Excellent work there by Tonkatsu. T-Fips will look like they're going to line up for a push here for Eisernes Kreuz and the Red Army. Rolling up with the T-Fed Force, Rough going into the knee here, and decent hit there. Mortals lands a bit of damage. Nothing significant, not even a kill for that. The center going to need to retreat before they get wiped out. And we got another Panther Barrage here. Hoping to get lucky. Tonkatsu, though, does not get lucky. Every rocket just completely hits the dirt and nothing else. Grab these some viewpoint there. Smart move. Meanwhile, Eisernes Kreuz starting to pressure, falls up the center onto the Pack 40 there. Bring up the Coh2 as well. It looks like he's going to try and broaden the assault here in the center, perhaps. Or he's just looking to mess with Tonkatsu. Hard to say in this case, though. The Coh2, similar to the Panther Barrage, just ends up not really hitting anything. Except maybe Otto. Their Zect ends up doing a bit more than the Panther Barrage, but not by a lot. Grab an eastern point there. Panther being fixed up. Half 8 of it into one that Panzerkampfwagen 5. And go another advance in the center here. Thwarted. T-Fed for going for the Panther Force. Shot bounce off the 80mm of non-sloped armor. Second shot misses. What is Tonkatsu playing next to? He still has the machine gun bunker covering the eastern field point there, but a victory point by the way. Skirmishing but the counters there. Smoke deployed again. Looks like it's going to make another push in the center here. Repairing the machine gun by the way. Not a bad idea there. He's also got the second Pioneer squad out to assist the repairs. Thumbs up there. They will need some support for his gunnies in these because 2 conscript the Sun Man is definitely going to overpower a veteran Grenadier squad. Now the Panther Barrage in the center, falls in the west in trouble. He picks up the Panther 4. Panther Lancer got shot in the T-34 from 6. Closing in 400 munitions there on the Soviet account. Obviously, totally not going to be, embezzled and stored away in a bank account somewhere after the war. In 40, Panther lands a decent hit, but just need to be careful here. Damaging the Panther 4 veteran on the ME-42 crew, and there got another strafing run here as Kreuz once more unleashes the Red Army Air Force here in the Germans. So far, though, basically seems to be what he's been using the Commander for is straight up just that. We've seen no K1s, no Guardsmen, no advanced fortifications, no howitzer, just strafing runs. Panther on the west wing will not achieving too much there. The field guns have to make a hammer to just wield it efficiently, though. In the actual, the field guns will actually struggle to penetrate the Panther frontally, even at close range, just diving in on the Panther. But crucially, we sort of notice that Tonkatsu again doesn't really have anything to really support this attack. He just sends in the Panther on its own with no real support. He could go for fragmentation bomb here, I think. Maybe to increase the chance of the Panther not getting completely turned into scrap metal there. But yeah, ultimately, too little too late. Mortar smoke deployed, but it just doesn't happen too fast there. Should have had support there for the Panther push. Some infantry to keep up, maybe with some assault and hold there. But, well, didn't, and instead cost him the Panther there. So that was definitely ill-advised there by Tonkatsu. And just became an easy kill there for Kreuz. They did lose a tank. T-Fed fought, mortar to be bombarded. Need to retreat that one. Maybe too late, honestly. Yup. T-Fed force there utterly demolished Tonkatsu's mortar crew there. And we'll probably try and destroy the mortar next Panther barrage around the center here. Another wasted Panther barrage. We'll have to see what it goes for next. More Panther force. Stugs. What will Kreuz go for? What is Kreuz thinking? Probably just more T-34 some 6s though, to be honest. As with the T-Fed force, shots bouncing here and there. Panther being pushed back, almost knocked out. West side we got the guns being up here, conscript dug in by the western victory point. Eastern point mixes with the conscripts. And we got the T-Fed force on there for Kreuz. T-Fed engaging the Fulton Grenadiers, or the veteran Grenadiers in the west. That icon is deceptive. Mortar lands a decent hit in the T-34 from 6, nothing massive. Those wondering how can a mortar damage a tank? Well, technically most tanks actually do not have a lot of top armor. Since most of them weren't expected to, like, you know, be shot at a lot from above. Most tanks typically not have so much armor up there because, you know, they need to save space somewhere. Heavier tanks like the Tiger and the King Typhoon would actually have a lot more heavier top armor, but, you know, most medium tanks typically were lightly armored on top there. So, little fun fact there. Got a Panther Barrage off again here, taking out some engineers, wiping them out there. Minor win there for Chisenkato, fragmentation bomb on the T-34 engineers. Bold. And whacked. The Grenadier squad there, good kill here for Eisernes Kreuz, quite below the Chisenkato, and the center needs to push back. Issues barrage off here, some rather violent exchanges, but so far Chisenkato is not coming ahead of these. In fact, he's falling behind Kreuz now, which is great for Eisernes Kreuz, but, you know, fairly problematic for Chisenkato. Mortar crewed for the third time. Well, second time, I think, technically, but it's crewed for the third time. So, another Panther for Chisenkato, more Panther 4 Stugs. Hard to say what they were thinking. Another near squad Eisernes Kreuz replaced one that did get utterly obliterated and annihilated by the Panzerwerfer barrage. Trying to get out the point here. Smoke being employed, but there's another T-34 from 6. In fact, it's a Veteran 2-1 that does force him back. Compliment the flank hit, got maneuver there. Panther 4. Veteran 2 with 18 kills. There you go. Charging 40, packed down, machine gun down, and destroyed. Quite the blow there to Chisenkato. As Eisernes Kreuz is yet to lose a single infantry squad. And there you go. Sacrifice the pioneers to crew the pack as well there. Quite awkward here for Chisenkato. We got another assault and hold here. Moving forward, some depleted grenadiers. Moving up the eastern ports where the pioneers could go faster with that ability. But otherwise, the situation here for Chisenkato is looking increasingly messy here. And they will need to, like, land some very hard hits in Eisernes Kreuz soon. And, like, you know, completely blindside Kreuz. But so far, there's just a lack of it. Pioneers reaching from the east side here. Probably to repair the Panther 4 now, which is stuck there with a damaged engine. And we got a Storm Panzer here for Chisenkato. I think that is a good indicator that those infantry squads, as well as the field guns, are starting to become a real significant pain for Chisenkato to deal with. Of course, should be careful not to ignore those T-34s from 6s, as those are definitely also dangerous, in particular in the larger numbers you get, which is very achievable due to the low cost. So there's definitely a potential that the fight is going to steadily snowball out of control if Eisernes Kreuz at this rate. We'll need to be very cautious here, and I think need to tactically readjust a bit here. The troops are falling back here. West side, there we got a few gunners sitting up the western victory point. We got 55, it's 224. Good hit on the conscripts. Western pointing back to engage with the T-34s from 6s. Gunners need to retreat here in the face of Eisernes Kreuz's mighty T-34. Back needs to straight up retreat them before they get utterly annihilated. Around the eastern field point. I mean, Chisenkato does have plenty of fuel. The issue right now for Chisenkato is they need manpower, and there's sadly no real way of increasing that income there. Counter their push back. Konstantin there. And Bobovitz got blown to bits there by the Sturmpanzer. Got the retreating there. And another Panther 4 there for Chisenkato. Sturmpanzer gets a decent hit up there. They're obviously not doing too much damage. In the actual war, they had a Sturmpanzer 4 hit a T-34 from 6 like that. The T-34 would have probably suffered some significant damage, though, as those shells the Sturmpanzer 4 fires off pack a lot of high explosives. In fact, more than the ISU-152 shells, and those things would actually just rip tanks apart with sheer explosive force. So, I'd imagine the Sturmpanzer 4 could achieve something similar. Another Panther 4 there for Chisenkato, almost done. Panther 4 diving head over Deutschland, but is immediately greeted there by a lot of Soviet guns, and Chisenkato very wisely just pulls out. Another Panzerwehr barrage wasted there for Chisenkato. Quite a few of them by now, definitely not great for him. Just ends up costing him a lot of time when he really needs to, like, deliver hard-hitting blows to Eisernes Kreuz. Coming in the center straight to the Sturmpanzer's line of fire. T-34 force in the offensive here. Spotted though by the Grenadiers. The Grenadier squads in both cases lose some minor casualties there. Mine goes off on the T-34 from 6, damaging the engine. But can Tonkatsu exploit this? Will he exploit this? Hard to say here, but guessing not. Direct hit on the Sturmpanzer here on the T-34's top there. Second shot doesn't do too much damage. Probably should focus on the troops in the center of the Panther moving up here. Field gun getting ready here. Tonkatsu remains chronically short in infantry, just 2 squads versus Eisernes Kreuz 4 squads. There is a definite gap there that probably should be shut down soon. Got the Sturmpanzer forward back up with the Panther 4 directly opening up the engineers here. Almost got the wipe Sturmpanzer achieving Veterans 1 and the bunker busting barrage. Busting bunkers, or most typically Soviet infantry. Oh dear, that's another blow there to Tonkatsu. A Grenadier squad there wiped out. Leaving Tonkatsu with just 1 squad of infantry now versus Eisernes Kreuz 4. That is a hell of a difference there, and it's going to be, I think, fairly difficult to compensate for at this point. They will need to go for infantry, but they also need more firepower in general. Meanwhile, Eisernes Kreuz here is going for a 3rd field gun. Not looking great here. Panther Shot actually wipes one of them. Decent kill there, I guess, but will it be enough here for Tonkatsu in the game around here? Try and destroy it, but quickly crewed here. Sturmpanzer slowly approaching the T2. Good shot from the Pack 4 and the T-34. Almost got the field gun wiped. Comes to the Grenadiers in the center. And another strafing run here from Eisernes Kreuz. Pack 4 trying to with the T-34 there. Panther 4 heavily damaged. Mortar there, 7 kills, 82. Panther 4 going for the field gun there, shoots. And we got more pioneers there for Tonkatsu. Mortar there slowly, very slowly approaching Veterans E3. 7 kills, 52 versus 224. Tonkatsu, they're definitely stuck in a pretty awkward position. Again, they got plenty of fuel. They got all the fuel they technically in the world, but they lack the manpower to really do anything with it. And tactically, I think the other issue has just been the kind of like, starting to use this like, narrowhead on the Salt Sea. There's been a little attempt to outmaneuver Eisernes Kreuz, catch from an angle where he can't, like, defend anything easily. There goes Sturmpanzer, he's landing some great hits. See, almost ripping through all the conscripts. Could he finally get a wiped out of them? I don't know, but probably not. As we got a conscript there flanking there, and again, Eisernes Kreuz ends up being the one flanking Tonkatsu, and there we go. We've got the 3rd field gun ready there as well. Stug 3G here for Tonkatsu. 2 thumbs up, but will it be enough? Will it be one of those, like, practically like death bet conversions in a sense? You can consider them. They were like, the sun will, oh right, the Stug is good, but like, they probably would have been in a better position actually going for the Stug sooner rather than, when they're losing pretty badly. But maybe the Stug could turn it around here. Panther moving forwards here, halfway to T3. Shot bounces over the T-34 from 6. That is some pretty great luck there for Kreuz, and conversely, rubbish luck there. They need to fall back from the western point here. Stug almost done there for Tonkatsu. Sturmpanzer 4 there in dire repairs, even with its sexy Schützen there. Gains from Veteran 2. Stug 3D, they're rolling forwards. Now, this is the early model Stug 3D. You can tell that from part the gun mantlet, which is a more squarish, flattish one, whereas the later models would have more rounded. It was colloquially known as the Saukopf, but that is not what they actually called it. East out there, Panther back to the conscripts. Going the Stug, punching straight for the armor. Stug quickly forced back. There we go, something happening on the right flank here as Tonkatsu looks it in there, but again, Panther Sturmpanzer, but crucially, not not a lot of what you call infantry support. Okay, going through the center now. Stuk in the west here, diving force right past the field gun. We got assault and hold again here, but with next to infantry. I'm not entirely sure as to the validity of this move, flanking the T-34 in the west spire up against 2 aces now, and a field gun on the flank there. Not looking great for the Stuk here. Charging through here, monitoring off there. Panther 4 with the damaged engine. Got the Katyusha at least. The Sturmpanzer is not part of the assault, by the way. Definitely not great. Panther Bash and the field guns wiping out 2 of them. Great. But, oh, got the T-34 from 6. That was actually a mine laid down there. Much when they went off there. Panther 4, the ace level. Is Tonkatsu turning around? I mean, he's destroying all of Eisernes Kreuz's armor and several of his field guns. Like, theoretically, it's not impossible. We got the ace T-34 versus the Panther 4. We got Blitzkrieg here trying to build some distance, but there you go. The ace T-34 takes out the Panther 4 ace. Fielding them in crude. I mean, theoretically, like, he's got some really explosive stuff here versus a force mostly made out of infantry. And the ace Panzerwerfer and the Sturmpanzer should technically be able to do the job. He's got Stormtroopers on the way there. He's definitely had MP40s. Sturmpanzer, those about to get knocked out as well. Oh, Gott im Himmel. This was an absolutely cataclysmic fight. By the end, I think may just prove to be a Pyrrhic victory here for Tonkatsu, because in the end, and most crucially, Eisernes Kreuz still has 4 7-man squad Kanska squad. This, like, again, they're just amazingly good. They're so tough to deal with. So then they're not looking great here for Tonkatsu. He ended up expanding himself. Of course, Kreuz just has massive resource reserves compared to, you know, Tonkatsu. So he just calls in more T-34s. And now Tonkatsu has nothing to really stop this tide of incoming armored socialism. I think this could very well be it for Tonkatsu, short of a miracle right now, which could happen. Like, theoretically, like, Kreuz could decide to just bunch up all the infantry at one place and allow Tonkatsu's Panzerwerfer to utterly annihilate it. But even here on the very brink, the Panzerwerfer keeps whiffing a lot by now. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be it. It was a valiant effort here by Tonkatsu. But in the end, he just couldn't overcome the sheer socialist might of Eisernes Kreuz in the late game. 6 points. 3 points. And no points. GG game over. Fierce fight here. Brutal back and forth action. I think Tonkatsu got a bit too stuck up ahead on Assault C. Tactically not great, particularly not versus Soviets. We're clearly prepared for it. Should have looked to maneuver more. Should also have like more support on those flanking assaults with infantry. And I really think, you know, more infantry also would have benefited Tonkatsu. Eisernes Kreuz could have done a bit with the command, but already handled himself quite well, and certainly shows the Soviets just really strong in the late game for a reason. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. We'll learn something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Ancient. Cheers. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.